If you haven't read the title of this video, I'm going to show you the process of creating my sim racing setup. First off, check out these three 32-inch monitors. Trust me, they're the perfect sim racing monitors. Not too big, not too small. It's like a symphony of screens ready to immerse me in the racing experience. Now, let's get down to business with the pedals. I've done something unique here. I've flipped them upside down and mounted them on a custom wooden base, making the whole experience feel more realistic than ever. Plus, I've 3D printed these pads for the brake and clutch pedals, adding an extra layer of authenticity. Let's get to the gear lever. I see a lot of people mounting it next to the steering wheel on the table, but if you look in the real car, the gear lever isn't ever next to the steering wheel. Please don't mention the Fiat Multipla. It's not a real car. So to make it as realistic as possible, I made this base to get the shifting lever on the right position. Again, the inspiration comes from my car. Now for the pièce de résistance, my steering wheel. I've taken the Thrustmaster T248 and souped it up with a genuine Volkswagen Golf steering wheel. And those custom-made buttons and shifting paddles? Oh, they're the cherry on top. Stay tuned because I'm about to show you how I made this happen. You won't believe the difference this Volkswagen wheel makes. While 9 extra centimeters on the diameter may not sound like much when talking about steering wheels, it's like going from a tricycle to a Ferrari. The driving experience is next level. I had to get a little creative during the installation, milling out an excess aluminum piece to fit the wheel on the base shaft, drilling holes, and 3D printing this cap to prevent wobbling from side to side. Now let's talk about these buttons. I've used a motherboard from a Logitech gaming pad to operate the extra buttons. A touch of DIY magic, and it's got all the functionality I need. Blinkers included. Speaking of buttons, they're all 3D printed, except for the micro switch itself, obviously. Even the base for the paddles and the paddles themselves are a product of my 3D printing skill set. Putting on the airbag cover was an adventure in itself. Turns out, you need the real airbag to keep it in place. So, a few screws later, and I've got a snug fit. This is what separates the pros from the rookies. One of the highlights of this setup is my gauge cluster. Since my screens are higher than my steering wheel view, I've added a tablet with custom-made gauges for different cars, from BMW to Bugatti, Ferrari to Koenigsegg, Lamborghini, Pagani, and many more to come. I've got it all covered. And of course, I 3D printed the tablet holder to perfection. Lastly, let's move on to the speakers, without which the whole setup would feel like listening to music while being deaf. This subwoofer not only provides rich engine-bass sounds, but also adds vibrations to the whole setup, even the pedals, as the bass touches my table. Then there is the soundbar and these side speakers that make the echo super realistic. You're probably thinking, man, I want to see this setup in action. Don't worry, I've got you.